I even sold candy for a period of time around that same age. So if you got to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, would you like to buy this candy from me? You're going to take a lot of no's. No, no, thank you. No, no, thank you. And then you get some yeses in there. So basically the practice got me over feeling bad about the no's and accentuating the yeses, the positives of it over time. So I try to keep that same mentality. People are going to say no a lot. That's just life. But it's the yeses that you're looking for. And the no's will teach you something. Yeses are the rewards. No's are the lessons.
On this show, Mornings with Nikki Marie, we celebrate voices and stories of exceptional individuals who are creatively affecting change in their communities or around the world. Whether you are an author, an entrepreneur, an athlete, an educator, a community leader, a mentor, we want you on the show. You never know who you will influence or empower by sharing your story. It's not about where you are now. It's about how you are motivating yourself and others to keep going. So let your voice be heard on Mornings with Nikki Marie. To be a guest, please feel free to email nikkimarieradio@gmail.com or send a message via Instagram at NikkiMarie_radio. We can't wait to hear your story. Today is going to be my first actual surprise interview. I'm so excited to have my guest here. We're going to be talking about basketball, entrepreneurship, and so many other things that we can tackle for this episode. I'm feeling special. So, hi, Andre.
How's it going? Yeah, it's definitely a surprise. We have our guy, head coach Tavares, but he'll be in there on the next one.
We do what we do and we get it done. And that's what this show is all about. And basketball being one of the things that is such a team sport. It's like you guys just hand me off like I was a basketball. But you know what? I feel love all around. So
yeah, it's the give and go. We must trust you if we do the give and go.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about you, how you got started in being an entrepreneur. I started being an entrepreneur very, very early. It was kind of instilled in me like extremely early on back in, I grew up in Southern California. And I used to kind of follow an older cousin of mine, Kenyon Williams, was an athlete who made a mistake in his life, went to jail and came back, and he opened up a record store. And within that record store, he had us selling CDs and stuff like that around like 1998, 99 time frame. And push all the equipment out and start having parties there, passing out flyers and, charging the dudes $5 and charging the girls $2 to come in, teenage parties. And that's kind of where a lot of my entrepreneurship started, was hosting parties like 13 and 14 years old. I kind of learned how to talk to people and try to get them to pay attention to me. Come check out what I'm doing. Come be entertained by this service or this product. Oh, you was a bona fide.
It was fun. Hey, from the very, very beginning. But that's a good thing. Those are good tools for kids to learn.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, if we go back to our youth, there's a level of confidence that we often lack. So how did you build that confidence within yourself to be able to have the confidence to have that hustle mentality?
That's a deep question. It was kind of being forced to, practicing really. Because with stuff like that, we're all shy in the beginning. Everybody is. People will be surprised. I'm an extreme introvert. So I may do a bunch of promotion and stuff like that and talk to people, and everybody thinks, oh, he's an extrovert. But after that, I got to take like a 3-hour solo walk, high for those periods to kind of ramp back up my energy. But early on, I learned to be confident. I learned that you don't have to do it all day.
Yeah.
You just have to do it in the moment for what you need to do. And just practicing, like, I'll try it. I even sold candy for a period of time around that same age. So if you got to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, would you like to buy this candy from me? You're going to take a lot of no's. No, no, thank you. No, no, thank you. And then you get some yeses in there. So basically the practice got me over feeling bad about the no's and accentuating the yeses, the positives of it over time. So I try to keep that same mentality. People are going to say no a lot. That's just life. But it's the yeses that you're looking for. And the no's will teach you something. Yeses are the rewards. No's are the lessons.
See, that's deep. That's deep, because there's a lot of us that think we would need to have yes, or we would get yes all the time. But there's a lot of doors that get slammed in your face. And there's a lot of times you get knocked down, and how many times you get back up is really not important. The key is to actually get it done. Do what you love, do what you're passionate about. Whether those doors keep closing, one will eventually open. So I love that mentality, to be so young though. I love that. Was that something that was instilled in you, like from your parents, or like how was your upbringing?
100%. It was instilled in me from my mom. She didn't have any choice. She had me when she was 15 years old. So on one hand, here she is, this young girl that's made what most people would consider a mistake that would shift her life. But on the other hand, she's brilliant. She was also walking across the stage to graduate high school at 15, when most people would be sophomore. But now you got to figure it out, because now you graduated early, but here you are with this child trying to be a grown woman. So you don't have any choice but to try to make something happen. And day after day, she was always a person who just kept trying to make it happen, figuring out another way. She went back and got as educated as possible. She continued to be a lifelong learner her whole life. So I copy that. I had the confidence that she had, was like, she can learn anything. As long as the information is available, she can learn anything. So I kind of take that same mentality. It's like, there's something out there. I believe I can learn it, given enough effort. I may not be the smartest person in the room or the smartest person in the world, but outworking me is going to be tough. I'm going to make it tough. Yeah. I got that from her.
Well, my parents always tell me that there's no instruction manual on how to be a good parent or how to be a good leader, but there's always a rule book when it comes to sports, right? So how did you...
There are some instructions when it comes to sports.
Right? Like, how do you have that instruction manual, but also be personable at the same time when it comes to not just sports, but other people that look to you for influence?
I think I try to use the humility part of the rule book. I understand that some of the stuff in my life was shaped by sports. I could have been in South East Daygo going to high school, but because I could play basketball and run track, I ended up at a better school, which enabled me to learn technology and stuff like that, and enabled me to make more money later. But at the same time, mistakes I made me take steps back. So when I look at the being personable, I look at young athletes, which most of them are always young, and I say, I made the same mistakes that you made. So I'm not going to judge you, but at the same time, I'm also going to be honest with you about where this path is leading you. And if you want to go down a positive path or be the greatest or be the best at what you do, I'm also tell you how you can do that. Don't do this, don't do that. But I'm always telling you, you got to outwork the next person. Because in this field, in professional basketball, whether it be minor league or the NBA or FIBA, everybody's talented. The difference becomes whoever works harder in the decisions that you make. But I'll be personal by being honest. I'm not going to lie to any of these guys. Here's what it is. Here's where I'm failing. Here's where you're failing. Here's how we can both help each other succeed as a team. Here's where your career is going. Here's where it could go. Here's why it's not here. Here's why it's there. It's honesty. If you're not honest, there's no way anybody can fix it. You can't stand on lies and try to get to the truth. At some point, the truth has to come through in order for people to improve.
Yeah, improvement and honesty is key. So how did you get to where you are now with this title of owner and CEO?
I wanted to do this when I was in the Air Force, because we would always play basketball. And I was stationed in Portugal and in the Kansas area. And I noticed that the American Basketball Association had came back. So I thought that was pretty amazing. I was like, wow, that's the league that Dr. J and George Iceman Gervin and Spencer Haywood, all these guys played in, and they merged with the NBA. So it was a big deal. And I wanted to start a Kansas team because that's where I was stationed at the time. But I just didn't really have a time for it between the Air Force and deployments and stuff like that. And so I never forgot about it. So then when I got out and I got to the Tampa and Sarasota area, I still reached out to the league again to see if they had reserves opening or any reservations, any market reserves available. And they had Sarasota. They didn't have Tampa at the time, but they had Sarasota. So I was like, well, that's the start. Let's start there. let's build what we can. And I always felt like at the end of the day, you're providing opportunity where there wasn't opportunity. Because there's a lot of talent in that area that nobody will see. And here you are employing 12 to 15 people and a coach, and they can build their resume, go overseas and get paid. I'm super excited that we finally got the Tampa reservation, and that took off because these guys are amazing straight out the gate, which is very, very rare. But the way I got into it was I love entrepreneurship. So when there's a new challenge, I'm all for it. Prior to that, I was doing buying land, and I had a 18-unit apartment building. So I like to break things. You know, my motto is move fast and break things. Only way to learn. So when somebody offers an opportunity, I go, okay, let's see what happens. I'm not going to die. I'll take a shot at it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But when it became to basketball, it was like right up my alley because I grew up loving basketball. So I was absolutely going to take that opportunity. So far, it's been great. And this Tampa team is something absurd.
I'm assuming you've watched Love and Basketball before.
Hey, it's the greatest movie ever. Love and Basketball. Or at least one of the greatest movies ever. Love and Basketball is amazing. It's classic.
I love you have this mentality that I've said before on a different show, that you can't have the what if. You can't be in the what if lane. Like, oh, what if I didn't do that? Or what if I didn't do, X, Y, and Z? But why are you living that what if lifestyle? Just do it. So you're like, I like breaking things. You like breaking things to see it evolve. So it's like you're creating things. You're that guy that breaks things down, and you're like, I'm going to create this. I'm going to create something that is meaningful, something that will help other people, something that will be challenging, but I love a challenge. Like that's
I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's the vibe that I'm getting from you.
Yes. Yeah, that's 100% true. You pegged me right on. I mean, that's it. I like to create. I think creation is the most important part of life, really. Creation is the closest you can get to God. Yeah. And some people don't believe in God, some people do, but that's the closest you can get to God is creation. So then when you look at things that there are things that amaze me. Life amazes me, death amazes me. So like births amaze me because that's creation. Yeah. You can't just go out and do that. So midwives, doulas, maternal health, all that stuff like that amazes me. Learning a lot of it from my wife and moms and stuff like that. But I look at how important you created a human. And that human can go on to create businesses and employ people and generational wealth and all that stuff. That's to me amazing because it's generational impact. It's almost like you live forever. If you create something and it stands, you live forever. Yeah. So, and I say it a lot. It sounds crazy. I say it a lot. These dudes are gonna be crazy when I say, when I copy P. Diddy and say, 10 years from now, we'll still be on top. I really mean that.
I thought it's such a that we won't stop.
Right. We're not gonna stop. I genuinely believe that. Like this is forever. We don't create anything. We're not playing around with it. We're creating something amazing that is going to continue to generate opportunities. And we've seen players become coaches. I've had players who played for us that say, hey, well, Andre, I'm moving to this city. How do I start a team? And we've guided them to do that. So just believe in building what you build, and then somebody else builds onto it. It just becomes better and better over time, more opportunities. And then I think of the next idea. There's a million things out there to do.
Well, I love that, when I had Jeremiah on before, we talked about brotherhood, unity, teamwork, and you're also displaying right now that it's not just about you. A lot of times people don't believe in the each one teach one, but I'm really big on that. Something, you're going to be the one to say, hey, if you want to do this, I will help you. Some people will be like, yeah, you want to do it, but I'm not helping you do it. You're going to do it on your own because I did X, Y, and Z work. So now you got to do the work. You're more like, no, you want to do it. Let me help you. Let me guide you. And they look to you for guidance and the role that you play. I'm thinking like with everything going on in society, you being a Black man, being a business owner, you have obviously a team that looks to you. Do you have those tough conversations when it comes to being a Black man in society?
100%.
It was something a little bit that Jeremiah and I touched on a little bit the last time. Just talking about how social justice is so important for us to be aware. So are you comfortable having those deep conversations with your team?
Absolutely. And the interesting factor is, so like, to get a little bit deep into that, because it's a good conversation, is there's these two. I have the Sarasota team and I have the Tampa Bay Fury team. The teams are like a tale of two cities. Tampa is a bit more diverse, so you get African Americans that are a bit more militant and outspoken, whereas Sarasota is a whole different culture. It's old white money, to be quite blunt. So I have to walk the fine line of talking to kids in Sarasota or young men in Sarasota, saying you have to watch out for this, watch out for that. But you also have to stand together. Manatee County is where Sarasota County, Manatee County is located. They have a Department of Justice investigation open on how they were treating juvenile when they arrested them. They were roughing young men up for zero reason and grown men at the same time. So these guys are being harassed. Not all of them, but I mean, it happens. We all are. It's just unfortunately part of the culture in America, and expected to make it to basketball games and cheer on these fans at the same time. So the complication is the same people who sit in those stands in Sarasota and in Tampa who cheer you on, if you were to be pulled over and shot by a cop, would find excuses as to why you deserved it. The fans are you on the court when you're entertaining them, when you're shining, when you're dancing. But outside of that, quite often they're not seeing you as fully human. On the back end of that, as an owner, these are friends and brothers to me. I know that they are human. They have families like I have families, kids, and stuff like that. So teaching them to understand, especially when you're young, that that's a fan, not a friend. He likes that you can dunk, but he don't like you. That's tough.
Yeah.
It is a very complex conversation. Because now you're having a young man shake hands and be nice to people in order to do business when that person doesn't care anything about them. And I'm keenly aware of the same attitude is shown towards me. Yeah. There's definitely tough conversations, but we're going to have them. Like we debate with the American Basketball Association right now. Every day they come out and say, you will play the national anthem at games. The Tampa Bay Fury and the Sarasota Manatee have never played the national anthem at games because when both teams started, it was after Trayvon Martin. So we won't. I own the team. Decide what you want to do. If it gets too tough, we'll start our own league. But I can't play that while this is still happening and act like it's okay at the same time. There's a stand that we take that I've always taken my whole life. It's just how I was raised. People go back. I think I got a profile pic, and it's me at like 7 years old with the baby teeth and the African medallion on that. Yeah, that's who I've been. You know, my word been my bond since that long. You can't leave that. There's no amount of money to leave that because you'll die with the money. They'll pull you out of your car and shoot you with the money or not. They'll say, okay, Andre, you own 2 teams here. You've been great. We've been fans of your games. Oh, well. Yeah. And won't care nothing less about it. And then the people who were in the stands who say they're your friends, they'll hop on Facebook and comment, well, maybe he resisted. Well, maybe he did this and he did that. Well, what about his background? And when he was in 3rd grade, he did this and did that. We're very realistic with our players. We tell them that fans are business. Yeah. That's just what it is. But family is family. Fans are business. It's unfortunate. Man. But we're not going to sit here and lie to no young men about it. Because that happens a lot of times when you're an athlete. You're kind of put on a pedestal early on. Mm-hmm. So you tend to think, if you start off in AAU at 5 or 6 years old, quite often you're coming across people who are outside of your actual community and culture. So you tend to think that you get comfortable with them. You believe they view it one way, but they're only seeing you on that court dribbling that ball. When it comes down to the full humanity of you, quite a bit of them don't see that. That's why LeBron, shut up and dribble. How dare LeBron say accountability? Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real talk conversation that I think, when we think of art and people who are able to express themselves through music, as soon as someone who is in that position, like sports, and they take a stance on something, everybody, they miss that. They're like, no, I have a platform. You're looking at me. This is a multi-million-dollar organization. We're going to take a stance. This is what we want to do because we can and because we have the platform to do it. And you may not even look at the little people, the lower class or however you want to label certain people. But if you have the ability to spark a conversation, you got to do it. You got to do what's
Absolutely.
right. You got to do what's in your heart.
That goes back to what you said earlier about the what ifs. Often people talk about entrepreneurship and say, well, what if, how dare we not take this chance to do something amazing? But that also applies to standing on your principles and the social stuff. If you see something that's wrong, you got to live with that. You didn't say nothing, that you stood in silence, or that you complied with something that just wasn't right. And that goes for racism, but also goes for rape culture and sexism too. Like, if you didn't say that was wrong and something happens, which it always does, you got to stand by that. And you're going to remember that, wow, when I had a chance to say something, I didn't say something just because I needed to keep that job, because I needed that funding, or I needed that sponsor.
Tell it. Wow.
You stand for something, or you fall for everything.
Woo. This was a surprisingly good conversation.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Fury, that's how we got to tell you the truth in Tampa. At least I am. That's all.
Tell it how it is. No chaser.
That's freedom. Thank you. If you got to lie, then you ain't gonna feel it's free.
Yeah. Wow. I would love to continue this conversation because, woof, it's all true. All true. This is the real talk chat right here. You have some other stuff. You guys have some other stuff coming up, some events coming up that you want.
Absolutely, yeah. Some good stuff. Well, a lot of stuff. We got a small business conference on May 15th.
Oh.
And that should be fun. Just talking to different small businesses about how advertising and sports can help them and how we can partner with them. But this weekend, May 1st, we're attending an event for the National Pediatric Cancer Association. So we're doing a walk run for them. So we're out there walking. I go to the fundraise for kids with with cancer and stuff like that. And after that, we have all the, over the summer players. It'll be 1 million events. We got some guys going to Mexico and representing. Dudes just did the All-Star game. That's just the nature of Tampa Bay Fury basketball. And then we'll be back for the season to win another championship. That's what we do. That's when I can say stuff like that. I feel a little bit more free. It's like, oh, we won a championship. What you gonna do? Kick us out of the league? Say what I want? No, I'm always like that.
What you gonna do? No.
10 years from now, we'll still be on top. We ain't going nowhere, right?
I know that everything with COVID is, when it comes to sports, especially basketball, you're touching people, you're touching everything, you're touching the ball, you're coughing, you're sneezing. But how are you guys mentally when it comes to COVID? Like, how are you all prepared mentally to be like, look, we're still gonna have a great game, we're still gonna win, take these wins. But how are you all mentally really dealing with the fact that COVID is still a real thing? Some people in our communities are not getting vaccinated. So how are you guys preparing mentally for everything?
Initially, it was a tough one because, we ran into challenges where, you couldn't necessarily find a gym because most gyms were closed. And then finally, when a few gyms opened, what we did was ask for people to donate supplies. So we had all the supplies we could handle as far as cleaning supplies, masks, things of that nature, and temperature checks right at the door. But that does change it changed the culture and mentality, because beforehand you walk right into the gym. Yeah. Now you think twice. It's like, oh, I got to take a temperature check as soon as I come to the gym. Referees have to wear a mask. So it's certainly challenging. We're not, obviously, players are not wearing masks during the game while they're playing, but the fact that you can't necessarily change in the habits of, I'm going to dap this guy up or high five and hug when I score, that's been tough. Sometimes players are consistent with it. Sometimes they're not. But we're also very careful to make sure that we're taking showers and sanitizing after games, because you're going back to kids and family, things of that nature. Yeah. We made sure that we didn't have fans in the stands this season. We'll probably have a limited amount over the summer. They kind of roll back into that. But mentally, I think players have different views concerning the vaccinations. Right? Even myself, obviously, people are fearful. We're in 30 players from 2 teams. And minorities. So we have that history of being concerned about trusting vaccinations and what the U.S. government puts out. Because historically speaking, there's been times where they couldn't be trusted. Tuskegee experiment is one of them, but also Johnson & Johnson's experiment in South America, places where they just settled a few years ago and had to pay out a bunch of money to, accidentally getting babies sick or killing babies, to be honest. Like, things of that nature scare our community. And then you hear these 2 different views on the vaccinations. Pfizer is 95% effective. Johnson & Johnson is about 66%, but it's the one shot. We're nervous just like everybody else is. At the same time, there comes a point where science does work. And so we expect to get vaccinated so that we're not getting other people sick, and to get back out there. And we have some rollout vaccinations coming through different companies where all of our guys work. Most of our guys have already been vaccinated because they also work regular jobs, and the jobs that they work are essential, so they got vaccinated. But we're encouraging vaccination because we got to get past the point. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
With research, we're encouraging vaccination. People should know it's risk, for sure. But we got to get past it, and it's going to be all right. I might be one of the first ones, May 6th, of our team, outside of a couple other guys, to take it, to set that example. I probably will be. It is what it is. We got to move forward and make sure everybody's okay. We don't have children and families.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's a personal decision for everybody. I hate the fact that it'll be one Black person that speaks for all of us. I'm like,
right.
You don't speak for me.
Right.
Don't guilt me for taking care of my health at the end of the day. I mean, there are doctors that are coming out saying that, long term there might be side effects 2, 3, 4 years from now, but I need to worry about today, okay? I need to worry
Sometimes
about
you have to focus on what's in front of you.
Yes. And
then the hope is that science can somewhat have a predictor of what those side effects might be and react to that when they do come.
Yeah.
And we've been pretty good. Humans have been pretty good at that. We've survived this long somehow. It's crazy.
Sure. Well, I mean, can we go back to the toilet tissue and the paper towels? I don't understand why there was limited supplies of paper towels and toilet tissue. Why everybody was taking the toilet tissue and the paper towels as if they never had tissue before. Did you guys experience
I don't know if it was
supplies?
I heard about it. Did not experience it. That's kind of what kept shocking me. I don't know if that was limited to when I did look into it, it was more like a logistical issue. So if you were in a major city where trucks were still moving supplies, at no point did I go into a store in Tampa and there were no toilet paper and paper towels. So when I'm watching it on TV, I'm like, where do you
only
live
in New York?
at? Sure. There must have been trouble moving toilet paper and paper towels in New York for some reason. And then, once the media gets it, it's like pandemonium. It's like no one has toilet paper across the globe. And meanwhile, people are at the house with lots of toilet paper. So then somebody goes out and buys 20 boxes of toilet paper just because.
Because
I mean, we were already coming to that doomsday era of prepping type people. So now everybody's doing it.
I mean, I went to the grocery store and there was limited supplies of toilet tissue, paper towels, laundry detergent, Lysol. At one point, Lysol went from $5, like the 2 in the pack, to $20. So
companies trying to make a profit.
I was like, supply and
profiting off fear. Yeah, facts.
And the media has a way to strike more fear. So I guess that would be my last question when it comes to the things that you watch and the things that maybe the team watches. Do you ever feel like there's things that's just overly exaggerated?
Yeah, absolutely. And by overly exaggerated, I don't even necessarily mean it in a bad way. There's sort of a way that the government and science works to, if I tell you, it's kind of like your parents sometimes. If I tell you, don't do that because the stove is hot, you may ignore it. But if I tell you, don't do that because the stove is hot, and if you touch the stove twice, the whole house will blow up.
Damn.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, I better not touch the stove. So the reality is there may be more supplies, but they might say something to, let me say it in an extreme way to draw your attention and to get you to care about this. But that's how statistics and all kind of stuff like that work. If I say it in this way, then you'll pay more attention to it. Not saying it's right, but it's not shocking for any government or not even just the government. I mean, McDonald's, Popeyes, like everybody markets like that. It's like Popeyes is making chicken forever. No, this is a spicy chicken sandwich. This is different chicken. That's just the same chicken on a brioche bun with a nice sauce on it. Tastes good, but they always was making chicken. But if I say it this way, it'll seem like you should rush out and do something about it. It's the take action cue. We do it too. The Tampa Bay Fury does it all the time. We want you to take action. We have a comedy show coming up June 10th. So we might tend to say, hey, look, there's not a lot of events going on. You don't know what's going to happen over the next few months. We're not lying. The truth is, after this past year and a half, nobody knows. So come out while you can. Go to Tampa813FuryNation.com and buy your tickets now and come out and hang with the champs. Just in case you don't get to see another event, another pandemic. Come out and have fun with us and laugh. We do stuff like that because you never know.
Oh, exactly. You know, it's funny because I think at some point everybody was kind of begging for something. They're like, oh, well, if you, when everything opens back up, we will go everywhere. It's like when everything opens back up, it was kind of like everybody was making a promise to themselves. Everybody was like, oh, well, when everything opens back up, you know, we going out everywhere. Wherever we need to be, we're going there. And we're going there now. Once everything opens back up.
I guess the lesson is we didn't really need to go as many places as we thought. Like some people kind of got used to it. Like, you know what? Maybe I didn't need to go out places. I know I did. I kind of enjoyed not going too many places. But like I said earlier, I'm an introvert. So I wasn't too crazy about going everywhere in the first place.
You are not alone.
I'm getting antsy now, though.
Yeah, I know. But you're definitely not alone because, you know, when everything shut down, I was like, yes, I don't have to make up a lie about why I can't go somewhere. Right. But now it's kind of backfiring. Yeah. Because, well, now it's backfiring because everybody's inviting me out somewhere. And I'm like, ugh. I kind of have this anxiety and, yeah.
I understand. Sometimes I don't make stuff and people are like, why isn't I going to that? I'll be ready to, but I'm not. This isn't the day for that. I'm not up to it. I'm not up to it today.
This is not the day. Well, where can everybody find out more information about these events?
So find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we got some crazy TikToks, Coach Tavares dancing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we got slam dunks and basketball stuff on it too, of course. 813 Fury on every social media, or 813furynation.com for the website. And you'll see the events page on Facebook up. You'll see us constantly posting on what tickets to events, things of that nature, in order to stay abreast. So
I'm interested.
It's all gonna be fun.
I'm interested in the TikTok. I don't know. I'm
when you
kinda...
see, you check out Coach Tavares' TikTok. He's having fun.
I'm still trying to figure out this TikTok thing. My daughter is like, she's 7, but she's like a whiz with TikTok. I just call her the TikTok media manager because I don't know how to do it.
They know what they're doing. I never learned Snapchat. I still don't know how to use it. Skip that whole phase. It's like, I don't know.
So where can people follow you and get to know you a little bit better?
You follow me on Instagram at Dre Build, because I just kind of signify, right? DREBUILD, literally Dre Build, like to create, like to build.
Exactly.
On Facebook, Andre Spivey, and all of them websites, the same stuff. Tampa Bay Fury. It's all about the building and the creation, creating opportunities. Not about me, but about life in general and these players that we provide opportunities for, and the fans in the community. That's really what the biggest thing is. So to support the fans and the players, go to those websites. You'll come across me. I ain't all that important. I'll be there. But to support all of them, go to those things. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be around.
What one piece of advice can you give to others that they can take with them on their journey moving forward?
Life it starts, it's going to end. And so it's like some people who've been in jail say you only do 2 days. The day you get in and the day you get out. What happens in between there? That's life. It's 2 days. The day you're born and the day you die. Those are there. Those are the givens. It's everything else in between where you have a chance to make something happen. So go make it happen. Don't wait for it. The greatest thing 50 Cent ever said was, I got a lot of living to do before I die, and I ain't got time to waste, so let's get it. People should wake up every day feeling like that. Like, before I go, you're going to know I was here. Make sure people know you were here before you go. Make sure you know you was here before you go. You don't get it twice.
He said you got 2 days. I love this interview. I love speaking to people.
In between that, you gotta live them.
I love talking to people that find motivation, not just with themselves or for themselves, but for others. Giving everybody the opportunity to hear something fresh, refreshing. Because, I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the world, and everybody sees it in a different lens.
Absolutely.
So, wow. Thank you for being on the show today.
Appreciate you for having me. And appreciate you for having Jeremiah. And in the future, Coach Tavares, he's on here. If you like this one, he's going to be a whole character. You know, he's smooth, and he's going to tell you the real. That's the real deal. He's going to really tell you.
Now, is he from the South?
Yeah, he's from Tampa, Florida. Down here.
So
that's interesting. So we got a kind of a culture.
I was going to say, do we consider Tampa, Florida to be the South?
I would say so. I mean, if Miami's considered the South, Florida's considered the South.
Don't talk about Miami.
Then why not Tampa? I love Miami.
Shout out to my mom who's in Miami. She always wants me to shout her out. She always listens to my show. She's my number one fan, and I love her.
Yeah, I love South Florida. Everybody in 305s, 561, all that. I love y'all. If y'all got teams down there, tell them come holler at us, and we'll schedule a game. So so the champs can win because we the division champs. Nice. I just want to make that clear one more time since we don't.
So basketball is what we do, what we love, and who we are. It's a journey toward our true selves.
Tampa Bay Fury.
To create and provide opportunities for athletes to take it to the next level. And, you know, every time you listen to my show, you leveling up because I got some amazing guests. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and follow me on all social media platforms at Nikki Marie _radio. you.